linear equations, one-step linear equations. Okay, for the first part, we're talking about addition problems. So for instance, assuming you have an apple. So let me use A to represent an apple. Then you want to add an apple to 4 pineapple. So P for pineapple. Okay, you see that is not possible. You might not be able to do this. But if you have an apple, that is one apple plus 4 apples, it is very possible. So when we add one apple plus 4 apple gives us 5 apples. So that's just what it is when we're dealing with variables. So nothing so special. Let's assume this x to be our apple. So we'll have an apple plus some other sort of fruit, another fruit, and then equal to another fruit. So you see that whenever we are adding this, it doesn't make sense. So what do? We have to look for an approach that is going to enable us to deal with this variable appropriately. Okay, so another thing to note is that when solving equations, the rule is to do the opposite, and we are definitely going to come to that. So for us to solve this equation, we want to isolate x, which means we want to make x to stand alone. Okay, back to this instance, here we had an apple, and then here we had pineapples. We could not combine them. But here we had apples, we are able to combine them. So let's assume this x, which are variable, to be our apple, and then we assume these values, which are digits, to be maybe our processed food, or let's say fries, or let's say buns. So if this is a buns, and then this is a buns, but then this is a fruit, let's use this fruit. So what we'll simply do is that we have to combine the values which are of the same like together. So doing that, we have to move 7 to this other side, such that we now have x is equal to 11 has been there already, so we're not going to move 11. 11 is already there. Then 7 coming here becomes negative because it's crossing the equality sign, so we'll have negative 7. From this very point, x becomes 7 minus 11 gives us what? It gives us 4. So, but then if you want to check, think about this in a more mathematical way. You're asking yourself, what value can you add to 7 to give you 11? So let's see, we have x plus 7. But we know that x is 4 because we saw for that. So 4 plus 7 is equal to what? 11. And that gives us back what we saw for initially. I hope this is simple and it makes sense. Okay. But then I want you to think about this in this manner, because in the note we said to solve equations, the rule is to do the opposite. So let's say x plus 7 is equal to 11. So for us to isolate x, or to make x stand alone, we have to look out for the number that is close to x, and that is 7. So how can we make x stand alone? We can make x stand alone by getting rid of 7, which means we have to remove 7 from this side of the equation. Now on this equation, this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. So we have x, our variable, on the left hand side, and then we have also on the left hand side 7, while on the right hand side we have 11. So for us to be able to make x stand alone on the left hand side, it means we have to remove 7 from that left hand side, and then we move 7 to the right hand side. Moving 7 to the right hand side is very, very essential that we note the sign of 7. And the sign of a number is sign in the front of the number to the left of it. So in front of 7 to the left of it, we have plus, which is a positive. That's how we say addition problem. So now it's an addition problem. We have to do the opposite. And what is the opposite? We have to do what? We have to subtract. So having said that, what can we do to get rid of 7 here? We have to subtract first. But what are we subtracting? 7 from both sides. So we have to subtract 7, which is the value there. So let's say subtract 7 from both sides. We are going to have x plus 7 minus 7 is equal to 11 minus 7. Such that 7 minus 7 cancel out because they are going to give you 0. Now x is standing alone is equal to 11 minus 7 gives us 4. As you can see, this was exactly the same what we got here. So the simple logic here is for you to think about this logically and understand it. And if you do that, that's it. So let's go ahead and solve more questions. Okay, for this second one, we have 4 plus x is equal to 8. So it's very, very important that you identify what we have in view. This is addition problem because we have plus. So because we have plus, we have to do the opposite, which is subtract. So what are we going to subtract from both sides? We are going to subtract the number which is with our variable. So on this left hand side, we have 4 and x, while on the right hand side, we have 8. So what do we need to remove from the left hand side to make x stand alone? 4. And how can we do that? We have to subtract 4 from both sides. Now, if you don't understand this clearly, you might need to see the lesson on subtracting negative integers or subtracting negative numbers on the Math Expedition series. So here we will have 4, since it's positive. Remember, 4 is plus here and x is plus here. But because it's starting the equation, we don't need to write plus 4 here. No, that's not necessary. So 4 minus 4 plus x is equal to 8 minus 4. We have to subtract 4 from both sides. So 4 minus 4 cancels out so that x is now equal to 8 minus 4 is what? 4. And it makes sense. What value can you add to 4 to give you 8? So that's 4. 4 plus 4 gives you 8. It's simple. So nothing too difficult, nothing too complex. Once you understand it, it's way, way easy for you to handle. Let's have another question. So here we have 7 is equal to x plus 9. So here is our left hand side and here is our right hand side. Now, when you are solving, you don't need to identify the left hand side and right hand side, but I'm doing this for the purpose of explanation. Okay, now on the left hand side we have only 7, while on the right hand side we have x plus 9. This is as though it's different from what we've been doing, but no, it's exactly the same. Now, whether your x or your variable, because it does not have to be x always, they can use p, it can be y, it can be k, it can be w. Well, I want to maintain consistency, that's why I'm just using x. So whether it's on the left hand side or the right hand side, that is not necessary. What is necessary that you do the right thing. So here we have addition again, which means we have to do the opposite, and that is to subtract. And what are we going to subtract? We are going to subtract the value that is with our variable, which is 9 here. So in different situations, it can change. It can be 14, it can be 2, it can be 3. So we're not saying like you have to use 9 every time. You have to use the value which is being given. Okay, so having said that, we will subtract 9 from both sides. So let's say subtract 9 from both sides. So here we have 7 minus 9 is equal to x plus 9 minus 9. So we didn't change anything on the left hand side nor the right hand side. We only subtracted 9 from both sides. Okay, so having said that, 7 minus 9 gives us what? Negative 2. Because they are different signs. I have a positive, remember here, but we don't need to write it. Different signs to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 9 minus 7 gives us 2, and then the sign of bigger number is minus, so negative is equal to. Here, 9 minus 9 goes away, so that's 0. We cannot write, we don't need to write it, so now we have x, and that is just simple. So x is equal to negative 2. Negative 2 is equal to x. Okay, let's check so that you can understand better. Let's check. We had dash is equal to negative 2 plus 9. Let's check. So negative 2 plus 9 is just same way of saying 9 minus 2, and 9 minus 2 is 7. So that's it. Exactly the same thing. Nothing too complex, nothing too special. Now we have another question here. We still need to, it looks like the previous question we did. All we need to do is, because we have a positive here, we subtract, we need a negative. So doing that, we have to subtract 8 from both sides. So 5 minus 8 is equal to 8 minus 8 plus x, or you can still say 8 plus x minus 8. The idea here is that you're subtracting 8 from both sides, which is this and this. You have to subtract 8 from both sides. So here we can have 5 minus 8 is equal to, we can arrange here so that it can become 8 minus 8 plus x. So even if you had written it like this initially, it's the same thing. If you want to write it in this form, fine, so that you can take your time to arrange and put everything in order. Still cool. So from this point, 5 minus 8 is negative 3. And that is equal to 8 minus 8 is 0, cancels out, and then we'll just have x alone. I believe this is not confusing. So whether your x is here, maybe let's say you have x is equal to minus 3, it's exactly the same with this. There is nothing different. They're just the same thing. Okay, now subtraction problems. The only difference here is that we have negative here. So we just have to do the opposite like we did previously. What we are going to do now is that we're going to add instead of subtracting. So here we have x minus 3 is equal to 4. On the left hand side, we have x minus 3. On the right hand side, we have just 4. For us to isolate x and make x to stand alone on the left hand side, what do? We have to add 3 to both sides. So let's do that. Add 3 to both sides. And we'll have x minus 3 plus 3 is equal to 4 plus 3. Now, mind you, you have to do this to both sides. Minus 3 plus 3 cancels out, and then we'll have that 0. X is now equal to 4 plus 3 is 7. And we are done. And if you check, if x is 7, 7 minus 3 gives you 4. So it's very, very simple. Okay, let's solve my example. Now we have negative 6 plus x is equal to negative 2. So remember, because here, okay, look at this. This is the left hand side. This is looking a little bit complex, but it's actually very simple. And here is the right hand side. On the left hand side, we want to isolate x, which means make x stand alone. For us to achieve that, we have to remove the number that is with x. Now pay attention to the signs of the variable and the sign of the number with x. So our utmost concern is the sign of the number with x, not necessarily the sign of our variable. Take note of that. Now we'll get to two-step equations where we'll talk about having negative or positive as the sign of a variable and how we tackle such kind of questions. But for now, we want to focus on the sign of the number with the variable. So here is negative, we have to do what? We have to add to both sides. But if it is positive, you subtract from both sides. So having said that, we add 6 to both sides. So now we have negative 6 plus 6 plus x is equal to negative 2 plus 6. Minus 6 plus 6 cancels out, and x is equal to minus 2 plus 6 is 4. And we are done. Okay, so nothing so complex, nothing challenging. Now, if you are having difficulty with the signs, dealing with signs as regards to minus 2, minus 4, minus 3 plus 6, this kind of question, what you simply do is comment below or you check out for the lessons on how to add integers with negative sign, how to add integers with negative signs. Okay, let's continue. Okay, the next question, negative 10 is equal to x minus 7. So just simply add 7 to both sides. So minus 10 plus 7 is equal to x minus 7 plus 7. Minus plus 7 is 0, so that's out. So from this point, different signs will subtract. 10 minus 7 is 3. Then remember to put the sign of the bigger number, which is negative, and then that is equal to x, and we are done. So from this very point, let's still solve. We have to add 8 to both sides. So doing that, 5 plus 8 is equal to minus 8 plus 8 plus x. And then 5 plus 8, 13. Okay, and that is equal to just x because minus 8 plus 8 is 0, and that cancels out. You see how this is very simple once we follow the process accordingly. Okay, and now we've moved to multiplication problems. Remember, we started from addition problems, we went to subtraction problems. Now we are on multiplication problems. Okay, let's take notes of this. We get rid of numbers by dividing on both sides. So we'll have to divide both sides some around. Remember, it was adding to both sides or subtracting from both sides. Now we have to do what? Divide. So just a little bit, taking it further, stay simple. Now we have to divide both sides. Okay, what is our variable multiplied with? Use the value to divide both sides. So here we have 4x is equal to 20. What is our variable? Our variable is x, and we want to make x stand alone. So having said that, what is x being multiplied with here is 4, right? Okay, we have to use that value to divide both sides, right? So we say divide both sides by the value multiplying our variable, which is 4 here. In substitution, it can be 5, it can be 6, whatever is fine. So 4x divided by 4 is equal to 20 divided by 4. The 4's cancel out here. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that our x can stand alone because 1 times x is just x. So x standing alone now, 20 divided by 4 gives us what? 5. And we are done. So the process is actually very, very simple. Just for you to understand the mechanism in which we employ to solve this question, and then already you are in alignment with us. Okay, here we have negative 5x is equal to 30. What is our variable multiplied with? Negative 5. Please pay attention to the sign whenever you're doing this. Now we have negative 5, not just 5. So we divide both sides by negative 5. So here we have negative 5x is equal to 30 divided by negative 5 divided by negative 5. Negative cancel negative, 5 cancel 5, and x is standing alone here is equal to 30 divided by 5 is 6. But remember, we have a negative, so add that negative, and we are done. The next question here we have 8. So divide both sides by 8. So 8x divided by 8 is equal to negative 24 divided by 8. The 8's cancel out, and then x is now equal to 24 divided by 8 is 3, but remember the sign, so negative 3. Here we have 42 is equal to 7x. So the fact that x is on the right hand side now is not a challenge. So remember, it's the right hand side and this is the left hand side. Whether your variable, which is x or y or any value or any alphabet, is on the right hand side or the left hand side is never a challenge. So same process is going to be employed. So what do? We have to look out for our variable, which is x. What is it being multiplied by? 7. So we have to use 7 to divide both sides. Saying that we have 42 divided by 7 is equal to 7x divided by 7. So the 7's here cancel out. So x is equal to 42 divided by 7 is 6. So therefore, x is equal to 6. Whatever way is fine. Whether you say 6 is equal to x or x is equal to 6, fine. That's correct. Okay, and we are at the final phase of this very lesson, division problems. Remember, we started from addition, we moved to subtraction, and then we went to multiplication, now on division. So for division, we get rid of denominator by multiplying both sides. So now we focus on the denominator. Now identify the value dividing the variable, and that value dividing our variable is the denominator. Here we have what? We have 5. We use the value dividing our variable, which happens to be the denominator, to multiply both sides. So here we have, okay, let's say multiply both sides by 5, such that we'll have 5 multiplied by x over 5 is equal to 5 multiplied by negative 3, that is minus 3. 5's cancel out and x is standing alone. 5 times minus 3 gives us what? Minus 15. We are done. So it's actually very simple. Okay, so here we have a negative number dividing our variable. So just pay attention to the number dividing our variable. And here is a negative number. So we use that number to multiply both sides. So multiply both sides by multiply both sides by minus 7, which is negative 7. So negative 7 in brackets x over minus 7. This is the bracket, remember, is the multiplication. Then we'll have here minus 2 multiplied by minus 7. So from this point, this cancels out and x stands alone. So negative times negative is positive. 2 times 7 is 14. And we don't need to write plus 14. And the very last question we have here. Okay, let's make it a little bit spicy. Assuming we have 9 is equal to x over minus 4, such that on the left hand side, we'll have a whole number, and on the right hand side, we'll have our variable. So exactly the same thing. What do? We are still going to multiply both sides by negative 4. So here we have negative 4 multiplied by 9 is equal to x over negative 4, or multiplied by negative 4. So that negative 4 is here cancel out. And then 9 times 4 is 36. But remember your negative. So negative 36 is equal to x. And that's just it. And it's exactly the same thing we say x is equal to negative 36. Nothing complex, nothing so special. Having said that, we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you so much for watching. Do well to like, subscribe, comment. And then remember, we're still going to talk about the two-step equations and general linear equations, taking it bit by bit and making sure we cover every aspect of algebra